going live in 3, 2, 1. Well, this is Safety Save with AlyssaKera. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
AlyssaKera? Okay, let me make sure I'm pronouncing it right. Okay, cool. So this is episode number 1. This is cool. So how are you doing this evening, Alyssa, or afternoon or morning, wherever anyone may be listening?
I'm doing very good. How about yourself?
I'm okay, I guess. As I was saying before we started the show, kind of hot, kind of rainy lately, but we were in the temperatures were reaching the mid 90s last week, getting close to 100. So air conditioning had to be running a lot more than usual. The As far as everything else, though, it's I guess I can't complain too much. I guess uh, however, no, there were a couple of things that you had. Didn't you say you had 3 cats, right?
I do. I do.
Did we have a chance to talk about that last week?
No, we didn't talk about it.
Okay, well, I wanted to talk about your cats because I wanted to see what kind of cats you have. But before we go any
Sure.
further, what I'd like to go look at our question from last week, so
Okay.
we can see what we got here. Now, I was bringing this up just before. Whoops, wrong button. I was bringing this up just before we went live, and got a pretty decent response. Uh, there we go. The question was, are you more interested in the live shows or the gaming videos on this channel? And I think that was about the same, roughly percentage-wise. We got a lot more votes this time. So 1,700 votes. I prefer the gaming videos with 77% overwhelmingly. 11% with I like the live shows. Well, that's not too bad. 6% with I like both. And that's also tied with I want to see something else. Oh boy, I'm going to mispronounce I know she's going to kill me. How do you pronounce her name again?
Um, Ayame Kyoto? Is that who you're talking of?
Yeah, yeah, thank you. I'll go with your pronunciation. I won't say anything else. I know I'm just going to butcher her name again. So, she was just thanking for the link. Yeah, because what I'd done was I'd posted a link for the question in the comment section there, so she found it pretty easily. Sandeep Mohanar talking about. Let's see. I have a suggestion. I prefer please request. Listen to your viewers. Read the comments after every video. Like the comments, reply to the comments. I mean, interact with your community. Yeah, yes, I do. I do read all the videos. I read all the comments. I just don't always respond to all of them because there's so many of them coming in at one time. So let's see. Brandon P says, "Let's you literally follow a damn train." Okay, that's a reference to Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. The mission. Did I tell you about that one? I'm not sure if I
You
told you about
did, yeah.
it. Okay, so did we might have seen that one already. That might be a repeat. You know what we need to do? We need to reset these so that we get the more recent ones. There we go. What's that? Prefer? Is that a? I'm not sure why you put that in there. Prefer? I'm not sure. Crystal Gardner says nice. I'm not sure what the name says there, but it says gaming, likes gaming. Miss Valerie says gaming videos. Roy 316 says gaming videos, but with the widescreen fix in the project 2D FX. Actually, I don't like live stream. Okay. Live stream is in the live shows or live video games. I was curious because we've done some videos where I've actually done some video games with people, and you might be referring to those. Those would be a different kind of live stream. So, Airbud, what was it? Were we talking about Air?
We were talking about Airbud.
GTA SA videos. Let's see. And yeah, that's pretty much it. In love with your GTA videos. Okay, so it looks like this time the comments actually match the voting, because sometimes it's the exact opposite. We'll get like a large number of people voting one way, and then we'll go to the comment section. The comments are the exact opposite. We'll get overwhelmingly the exact opposite. So this is one of those. I don't know if you can say rare exceptions, but it's definitely different than what I've seen on a regular basis. My theory is as to why it's sometimes the opposite is sometimes people will see that their vote is getting underwhelmingly voted down, or however you want to phrase it. So what they do is they put a comment in there to justify why they're voting for something that's getting has such a low vote tally.
That makes sense, yeah.
But this time it's not the case. So it's interesting. I guess it's more or less along the lines of people just saying that they like the videos on it. Now, I will say 11% is not bad. So I like it to be a little bit higher, but then we also have people at 6. So technically it's more like 17% if you add that in there as well. So that's pretty good. So you had a question. Oh, wait, before we go any further, how do you feel about this? The results on that?
I'm not really surprised. I think you've got a really good GTA following, and I think that makes a lot of sense. So you've got a lot of videos and a lot of really cool videos. So, and they don't know me yet.
But well, they get to know you. We'll be good. Everything will be good there. Now you had another question. I'm gonna pull that up. Do you remember what you can go ahead and here it is. I'm gonna go ahead and put it up here. Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to block my view with that. There we go. I'm going to, did you want to talk about, no, this is basically about the title of the show. Did you want to explain that?
Yeah, okay. So I really thought that Safety Save was a fun, kind of really easy to connect with a title. A bunch of friends and we always talk about doing a safety save when playing through a game. And I thought it has kind of this really like wholesome feeling to me of being a safe space. And this is where you can be to talk about whatever your feelings, your troubles. It's like a nice warm place you can be before you go fight your bosses in real life. So I really liked the idea of tying into the video games, which we're both really big into games, and also just creating a safe, wholesome, good place. I like that idea a lot. Um, so I just thought safety save makes sense, and I really like the alliteration.
So wait, you said fighting their bosses in real life. Is that what you said?
Yeah, yeah. So, we all have our safety save before we go fight a big boss just in case anything should happen. And I thought that this could be a good connection between, our video games and what we do in those and any kind of like you save before you do something stupid, or you save after you get something really cool, or you save before you go fight that boss. But it also applies in real life too. Like, this is a safe corner for you to come talk about, I did this really awesome thing at my job, or had this challenge that I overcame with my friendship. So I thought that would be a really fun, all encompassing just title for us.
Okay. Did I spell, is safety save spelled correctly there? 'Cause it looks like, because
Let's
it gives me
see.
an error. Is that right? 'Cause
I think so.
I copied it the way that you had it on there. Let me see.
I'm
Uh,
SAFT.
I think I need this. This is it right there. I just changed it. Because it's spelled
Oh,
SA,
you're testing me now.
I think because SAF,
TEY.
T T E. Okay, so it is the other way. Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay. No, you had it.
Typos.
No, you had it spelled correctly. Is this? I mean, is this the way you want it spelled? Is what I'm asking, I guess.
Oh, the correct way.
Oh, okay. Okay. We corrected here. Okay. There we go.
SAFETY. Yeah, that should be right.
Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay. Okay. Looking at the results here. The third one down after doing something that you don't
Thank
want
you,
to
little
lose.
Hawkman.
The third one down says after doing something you don't want to lose the data on. Some of my older computers, when I play a game, the game it would get to a point where the game just the computer couldn't handle the game, and so usually the video graphics card was just not powerful enough, and so the game would lock up. So I would constantly save the game over and over just because I didn't want to lose my progress. And that was like I said, a very old computer.
Mhm.
So the and eventually over time, I was able to get a computer that worked better. I do have now when making videos, it doesn't really matter. Most of the gaming I would do nowadays is just to make videos. I don't really play just to play the game. I play so I can make the videos. So if the game crashes now, it doesn't matter. I don't really need a safety save because I just go back to where I was where I was making the video. I don't the videos are there's no need for a safety save anymore for me. Even though I will say one of the computers I use right now does have a problem with the frame rates, so it does periodically lock up, which is kind of frustrating. So
Yeah.
I guess number three would fall into that category too. You don't want to lose the data. So and so what would your response be for this?
Um, all of the above. Probably the most before a boss, definitely my first thought is, "I gotta save, I've gotta save." Because I'm one of those people who I'll go into a boss battle, and the first time around is gathering intel and information, and then the second time is like, "Okay, for real now."
So we want to put that as a fifth option, all of the above?
Yeah, let's do all of the above.
There we go. Okay, cool. Cool. So which games before we go any further, does that look good? Want me to go ahead and post that?
Yeah, looks good.
Do you want me to add during a video game, or do you think it really matters?
I think it's implied.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, I'll go ahead and post that there. Alrighty. So what I will do is I will add this to the comments section right now. So say so people know where to go, because last time some people didn't know. And the poll in today's poll. So it'll come up right here in the comments section for everybody. All right, so there you go. If anyone wants to take it, all you have to do is click on that link, and it'll take you right to the question. So now going back there. I guess we can get rid of this for now too.
Oh.
All right. So what was, I mean, where did I cut you off at some point? I'm sorry. You were talking about how you saved for all of the above. Was there something else you were adding there? I forget. I apologize.
If there was, I don't recall. I save all the time. I'm a compulsive saver.
Now how what platform do you play on?
Mostly PC, but I grew up on PlayStation, so I played a ton of PS1 and then went into PS2 and PSP and then Game Boy Advance and DS and Nintendo. So all of it.
So does the PlayStation, does that is that I've only played I played the video game Driver 2 on the original PlayStation. I don't remember having too much of an issue with that. Um, how about are other games common for, does it crash a lot on those, or is it just basically more or less just trying to make sure you don't lose your progress because you failed a mission or something?
I think it's more or less not losing your progress because you're gonna fail or you're gonna do something really dumb, but you gotta try it. You're just, I really want to go do this, and you know it's gonna end badly, but you really want to do it anyway. I do have some issues with, like, if I were to go back and play like a PlayStation game now, there's possibilities that, that machine is so old at this point that I don't necessarily trust it, so I might do a lot of safety saves. Um, and then I've played on some, like, emulation before too, which you can't exactly trust that, and, you
Oh
gotta
yes.
you gotta save.
No, the times I would do safety saves long ago, I would say before, not necessarily before a big boss, but before a big scene, a big fight scene would come up in the video game Duke Nukem 3D. I think we might have touched on this, you and I, before when we weren't live, I think. So Duke Nukem 3D is like a lot of people know what that is, but it was basically heavily inspired by Doom, I believe. So
Oh.
and it would allow you to save the game at any point you wanted to. You could, and so anytime I got to a point where I was like, "Oh goodness, I don't want to go back and start from the beginning for this whole level," I would just hit the pause button or whatever it was and go into the menu and save it. And the interesting thing is when you save it on that game, it was an old DOS based game, which is interesting. You would actually see the screen from where you were at, where like if you could want to scroll through the saves you had made, you would actually see the screen where you were going to load up at, like what you're going to encounter at that point. So it saved everything at that, almost like a snapshot of what you're
Oh,
going to
yeah.
encounter.
That's
Just
nice.
unlike most of the video games nowadays, you don't see that. You load it up and it just loads up things randomly. So um, now, San Andreas doesn't have that option. At least, well, it might have it on the mobile version. So I think it does. But as far as the older version, it does not. And one second, one second. I'm sorry, got distracted here. I do apologize. The Grand Theft Auto 5 does have the option where you can save anywhere, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if you can save during the missions because I got kind of bored with the game, so I stopped playing after I got about a third of the way through. but you can pull out the cell phone during the game and you can save it anywhere. So when I was doing what I call like a starter save, which is basically doing everything you can before you start the story missions, I went to complete all the things all the collectibles and all the stunt jumps and all that. I remember constantly saving using the cell phone instead of going back to the save location at the beginning. So it was kind of convenient because there was only one place you could save the game in that. Otherwise, if you didn't have that, well, if you'd have to go way back down to the bottom of the map, which would take forever to get to, especially if you're on the way up in the mountains or if you're on the northern end of the map. You take like maybe 15 minutes just to get back down there because the map was so big. Or if you're in the ocean, swing around, it'd take you forever to get back out of the ocean and save the game. So I would just use
Oh,
the cell
yeah.
phone, save it from there. But I was actually surprised that they put that in there because the older games don't, like San Andreas, Vice City doesn't. They don't have that option. Like I said, they maybe the mobile versions do, but but not the older original versions do. So whenever you save the game, you have to go to an actual save point to save it. So it's kind of a safety save in a sense, but you can't save during a mission. Now, as far as safety saves during missions, could you do that on the PlayStation games you were talking about?
There most of the time PlayStation was you had to, well, not PlayStation in general, but older style games like that, what there was no like save whenever you want. You had to find a particular save point, and if that meant you had to backtrack 30 minutes to go find a save point, you had to do that.
We got another comment says, and you could always take the memory card to a friend's house to continue a game.
That's the best part. That was my favorite. I miss that. Just now you have to take the entire, like, if you're gonna take, like, a PlayStation, you'll have to take the entire console with you, and
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
mhm. You used to just be able to take the disc and the memory card, and then just pop that bad boy in, and it's right where you left off.
Wow. I can show you for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Oh, actually, for any Grand Theft Auto game, and including the newer um, Red Dead Redemption games, you can do this for your saved games, which is really nice. This is a privately run website. I'm bringing it up here. Let me see if I can. Give me a second here. Here we go. Here it is. This is called GTA SMP. This was created by a guy like probably at least 8 years ago. Oops. Oh, we lost you. I'll go. Wait to. Oops. There you go. You're back.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. What I was explaining was this website was created, I think, back in 2006 or 2007. I don't remember. But it's a very old website, and he's modified it a lot over the years. And you can save any game, any Grand Theft Auto game, except for like the 1 and 2, like the really older games, like Grand Theft Auto 3 and newer. You can also save. I'll bring it up here. You can also, here's a list of all the games. You can also do Red Red Redemption 2, which is pretty cool. This is mostly for PC, but they do have PlayStations as well. So like PlayStation 2. That's because of me. I was making a comment one time about how to save games, and they added the Japanese version in here at one time. I think maybe they took it out. Uh,
Wow.
I don't see it anymore. Maybe it is still there. But like, yeah, I was surprised. I didn't know you could actually transfer PlayStation 2 saved games over the internet, which is kind of cool. You have to have a little editor and everything. It's not too hard to do. I
Oh,
played
yeah,
around with
that's
it.
really interesting.
So this is mostly for PC games, oh, and Android and phone stuff. But there are some exceptions where you can actually do PlayStation, but most of it is for PC. So this website is privately run. It's gtasnp.com. And like I said, it's mostly for Grand Theft Auto, but Red Dead Redemption is there as well. And it's really nice because you can I use this on a regular basis. If people want to like use one of my save games, I just use this to let them have it. Uh,
Oh, that's so cool.
but one of mine is up here. Actually, where's mine? One second. Oh, I'll type in my. You can do. Let me do a search real quick. Let me get to PC. Give me a second. Grand Theft Auto 5. Okay, here we go. Okay, yeah, this one right here, this one at the very top, this is mine. This is one of mine. So, like, I created this like back in way back. It got oh well, he's got a weird upload 2038, so ignore the upload date on there. That's a little. So, but this is mine. I created this, and he uploaded it. Someone else uploaded it. They asked if I could do that. I said sure. I also have a couple of other one other. game that I modified a little bit. Let me see if it's still there. Oh no, it's not there anymore. I had one that had my name in it. I guess maybe it got deleted. The guy doesn't delete anything. It just automatically deletes if no one downloads it after 30 days. So,
Oh, I
uh,
see.
so he didn't. I know he didn't delete it. He's a nice guy. He wouldn't do that. And anyway, if anyone out there wants to use this website, I would highly recommend it. I don't know if the guy takes any money, but if he did, it'd be definitely nice to. Oh, there's his name, Sam Mutz at the very bottom. So, um, anyway, I just want to bring that to you so that you know. So that's how you do that. Oops. Okay, I bring that back down. So we were talking before about your cats. We didn't talk about your cats.
Oh, yeah. I have 3 cats. My oldest cat is named Marceline from Adventure Time, and then I have another cat named Howl from Howl's Moving Castle, which is a Miyazaki film. And then I have my last cat is named Saffron from Saffron Gym in Pokemon.
You're gonna hate me because I don't know any of those references.
Adventure Time is a animated, cartoon on Cartoon Network, I believe it was, and it's a really cute show. It's, like, got 15-minute episodes, and it's pretty funny, and then it actually has, like, a pretty serious story that got really interesting, and I really like it. And then Howl's Moving Castle, we talked a little bit about Miyazaki films last time. So it's one of those films, really great
Ah,
anime. It's fantastic. The food just it looks amazing. I don't know how they make food look that amazing in anime, but they do. And then Pokemon is
I know
like
of I
yeah.
know of it, but I've not
I'm
actually
trying to
played it.
think, how do you describe Pokemon?
Actually, we hear something funny. Pokemon is actually in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Did you know that? Is this something
No.
I can? Let me show you real quick. I made a video and watch. Uh, yeah, here we go. I'm gonna bring it up right here. Give me a second. Okay. Okay, there's my video at the very top right here. So that's it. So I called it the secret location of Pokemon Ashin. I don't know how to pronounce the second name. Now I've never watched the show, and I did not discover this, but what I did was I read this I think on GTA forums. Um, I so I can't give proper credit as to who did this, but if you look on the screen, you can see right there.
Oh
See right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's they actually snuck it into the game. What's
Ash
the
and
character's name?
Pikachu. Yep, I can see him. That's awesome.
And there's the other one right there.
Yeah.
So, and the funny part is when I posted this, people were like, I thought I was like clickbaiting or something. I was like, no, it's
Oh.
real. Mhm. It's really there. It's on the storefront.
That's crazy. What a cute little Easter egg.
Uh-huh. And I wish could give proper credit as to the person who discovered it, but I can't. I don't know who did. But anyway, yeah. I always thought that was kind of funny. I wanted to, like, since we were talking about that, I thought I'd bring that in there and show it to
Oh,
you.
yeah, that's awesome. I had no idea.
So your cats are how old are your cats?
So, my oldest cat is 10 now, and she is so tiny, you would never know. She still looks like she's like a kitten, and she weighs nothing. You might see them run around in the background. I can't control them. I've tried. And then I have the other 2 are about the same age. They're about 5 or 6 now, and, they couldn't be more different.
Now, do you have a favorite?
It depends on what they've been doing lately.
No, as far as what are you didn't mention the breeds, did you?
Oh, I have a calico, and
Calico.
then I have a tabby, and then I just have an all black cat.
Oh, okay, like mine then, kind of.
Mhm.
So
Yep. They're
the
all short
calico.
hair though.
Oh, the calico. I didn't. You probably knew this. I did not know this though. But about a year ago, I found this out that calicos are almost always female. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah, very,
And
very rare to have a male calico.
yeah, I was surprised to find out. The only reason I even looked it up is because the two cats I have right now, their mother and their sister were calico, and I just looked
Oh,
it up on a whim just to see, and it was like I was like surprised to find out. They said one in every 1,500 will be a male, roughly on
wow.
average.
That's
according to the website I went on.
small.
Yeah. They said it's like a female trait. It's like having a man with a female, like a human being with a female body part that grows. It's kind of like that female trait of some kind that they
I
grow in.
see.
It's
Got
it's
it.
it's nothing. It's not really a deformity or anything. It's just something that happens once in a while. So let's see.
Interesting. So you have two cats, right? Just two black cats?
Yeah, hold on a second.
And they're pretty young, right?
Yeah, they're 2 years old. I'll show you the.
Aw.
There's the one that's short hair kitty, and let me see, that's long hair kitty right there. So if you're looking at them, so
Cute.
a lot of people say they look the same, but if you saw them up front, you would see that they are definitely different there. So actually, I can show you. Hold on a second, if you don't mind waiting for a second here. Give me a second. I can. This was a video I made. I don't know if I can. Wait a second. I'm just trying to dig it up. What happened was I walked into the room where I keep them at nighttime. I keep them isolated in rooms so they don't run around and like destroy things. I have to lock them up in a bedroom. So I that's the only way to keep them from destroying everything all night long. Anyway, I walked into the room one morning and they were cuddled up. They were up on top of a bunch of boxes, and I was able to take a video. Usually they're running around and I can't usually get them, but this time I did. Oh shoot, I can't find it. Well, sorry. I was going to show you what they look like. I thought I had the video. It would take too long to find it. Anyway, it was they were up on the middle of these boxes I had stacked up in the middle of the room, and I was wondering why are they up there. So I was like, well, this gives me an opportunity to take a little video of them. And it turned out that there was the room was infested with fleas. I was like,
Oh
oh,
gosh.
that,
Oh man.
I didn't know that. So then what they were doing is they were hiding up on the highest point in the room to keep away from the fleas.
Oh, that
So
makes sense.
I discovered like a couple days later that there were fleas and I was getting bit. At first I thought I was getting like mosquito bites. I didn't know there were flea bites. And then I realized there were fleas when I finally saw one of them. So I took everything out of their room and just tossed it outside. Because I figured there was any eggs or anything like that would just go outside at that point. I sprayed everything down and I actually got rid of them because fleas, I don't know if you ever had fleas. They're incredibly hard to get rid of.
They're tenacious. It's really hard to get rid of them once you have them.
Yeah, and I was surprised I got rid of them within a month at the most, maybe less than that, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a few
Nice.
weeks.
Yeah. That's a really hard to do.
Yeah, and it surprised me. I didn't, and these fleas were like microscopic in size. I mean, I couldn't even see them sometimes. They were so small. Have you ever seen them? That's like they were like so small, like they were like the size of the dot of a pin. That's small. You ever seen them in small before?
Yeah, I rescued my black cat, Howl, and I remember he had fleas when I rescued him, and I would sit him down and I would comb him to get rid of the fleas, like, that's the best way. It's like lice, and, Dawn dish soap and warm water, and I just kinda, like, brushed him, and you, like, pull it away, and you put it in the water, and it's all these black spots, and I was like, "Oh my god, you're just covered." Poor thing. I mean, it was, like, every day I did that for, like, a week until I felt, like, confident that they were totally gone.
Did you actually get rid of them all?
Yeah, I got rid of them all.
Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. I have this thing where I like to I call it the property I own. It's an acre of land. I call it like a nature preserve. So all creatures can live on my land if they want to. I have like a whole bunch of wildlife. But
Oh,
the one
that's
thing I
cool.
don't tolerate are ticks and fleas. So sorry, they have to go. I I don't want I hate to say it, but there's a certain life I just don't see any point in trying to save. They get killed immediately. So
I'm so bad with bugs. It's really terrible. I recently purchased a home and I didn't realize that with a home comes pests. Well, I mean, I did realize it to an extent, but I thought I was going to be like, I'd get over it and I'd be able to handle it on my own. I cannot. I'm a baby. It takes me an hour to kill a spider. And it sounds like I'm getting axe murdered as that's happening. It's pretty bad. It's really
overall.
bad. I'm terrible with bugs. I'm so bad.
I actually, and Stephanie, oh my glob says, and roaches are also horrible.
They're so bad and they're so gross. And they fly down here. Oh god, they're the worst.
Yeah. I have flying cockroaches outside of my house. I've seen them once in a while.
Oh God, no.
And yeah, those are pretty vile. When I was before this is I rented a room for about 13 years. This is many years ago, and the house was infested with cockroaches. It was so
Oh
gross. The
God.
landlord didn't get rid of them, and these would not they did not fly. They just huddled together, and they ruined a couple of my pieces of. I had like electronic equipment. They would get inside the equipment and nest in there, and then they'd whatever their goop or the nasty stuff would come out,
Mm.
and it would ruin the circuit boards and short it all out, and all the equipment I had was just ruined. It was just awful.
Oh,
So
that's so bad. I actually just was reading something today about that. Like the electricity because it's warm and they can be hidden in the dark. And somebody had like taken apart their keyboard and there was like roaches in the keyboard. Oh my God, it's awful. Clean your
oh.
keyboard.
I, fortunately for me, my keyboards get noisy. They get like clicky. So I have to replace my keyboard like once every few months anyway. So even if I don't have problems with cockroaches, fortunately, but if I did, the cockroaches wouldn't be able to form in mine because I just get rid of mine too quickly
Oh
anyway.
yeah.
And they're not really that loud. The problem is I'm doing recordings, voice recordings all the time, and if every time I tap the keyboard, you hear click, click. That's
Right.
okay. Time for a new keyboard. But yeah, yeah, the cockroaches are, ugh. And what's even more disgusting are the egg sacs. You ever seen the cockroaches with the egg sacs sticking
I
out their
have
back?
I haven't. Oh,
Uh,
thank God I haven't. Don't show me. Please don't show me.
okay. I was going to show you, but if you don't want to see me, that's
No.
okay.
Thing of
They're,
nightmares.
yeah, they're pretty bad. Trung says hello, hello, Trung. I hope I pronounced your name right there. So, yeah, yeah, cockroaches. Um, yeah, I went into well, when I was at the house I used to rent the room into, the neighbor, the tenant, I should say, that had the room above mine, he would leave his alarm clock on in the middle of the day and I was trying to sleep because I was
Oh
working in
gosh.
radio, so I had these weird hours. And so at one time, I decided I'd finally go into it. He wasn't there. I walked in, I actually got in, he didn't lock his door. So I walked into his room, turned off his alarm clock, and there were cockroaches all over the place in his room.
Oh
Worse.
my God.
And the smell they leave is also really repulsive too. So, there's oh
Oh.
the other thing. Have you ever seen these carpenter bees? You ever seen carpenter bees?
I don't think I have. I'm not afraid of bees,
Uh,
so
You
that's
might
one
be
thing.
you might be afraid of these.
Oh.
Um, at least
Just adding something else to my list.
let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Maybe these aren't carpenter. Maybe they weren't carpenter bees. I'm bringing. Hold on a second. I'll show you what I'm looking at here. Give me a second. I'll bring it up on the stream. These are okay. These are not a carpenter. Well, what I saw as a carpenter bee was big and orange. Was huge, and the landlord refused to get rid of them. So we had a problem with cockroaches and what he referred to as carpenter bees, but they didn't look like these.
Oh man.
The ones that he had were like that they burrowed into the walls of the house, and they were once in a while one of them would fly into my room, and it was huge. It was like about 3 or 4 inches long. They're huge. They're like ridiculously large, and I would be like terrified this thing was going to land on me and sting me. And he kept us. The landlord, instead of getting rid of them, he would just tell me, "Oh, don't worry about them. As long as you leave them alone, they'll be fine." so, so,
Wow, what a
so
mess. Oh
yeah,
my gosh, I can't believe you lived like that.
I know. It was horrific. So, I haven't been there in years, but I'm assuming the house is probably still in the same condition. I'm surprised it's still standing at this point. So, those are not them. I'm not sure what I saw. Like I said, he referred to them as carpenter bees, but the ones I saw did not. They were big, anywhere from 3 to 4 inches long, which is huge, and they're like orange in color, like a orangish color. So, anyway, let's see how many. Okay, we got a question from Eric. How many missions of GTA do I have left? Okay, well, let me bring this up for a second here so I can show you what he's talking about here. I'll bring up my channel. Okay, here's videos. Okay, so right now these are my videos. You see where here's our live video. Right now we're up to the one that plays tomorrow. Oh, this is not in order. Sorry. Hold on a second. Let me bring this up instead. That's showing my feed, not what the average person sees. Give me a second here. I'm bringing it up on this one instead. I'll get a better idea. Here we go. Okay. Uh, that might look the same, but it's actually different. The one that starts tomorrow is a drop in the ocean. So for to answer your question, I think I have about 12 or so, maybe a dozen or so missions left to go. So for those who are wondering, I will have the game will probably be done in a couple weeks. So, Grant, have you ever played Grand Theft Auto 3, Alyssa?
I haven't, no.
Okay, it's very rudimentary compared to the more modern games. I'm very rudimentary. It's so funny to play it. It's like going back in time to like it came out in 2002, I think. I think it was 2001. I think it was maybe 2001, and it feels it's 20 years old, but it feels like it came out even earlier than that. As far as the graphics, the way the game plays, and everything, it's a fun game, but it's just so compared to modern games, the rudimentary attitude aspect of it is like you're playing this game and you're like, uh, it's like I can't believe the games were like this so basically designed. You know, it's so funny. You can't control certain elements that when the cars crash, they crash, and you just have to deal with it. You know, you can't control things as well as you can in modern games. But anyway, it's a fun game. It's a fun game, but it's just so it takes a little bit of time to get used to, especially if you're used to more modern games. That is so.
Gotcha. Destruction and things just not going right in games might be my favorite thing of all time. So it sounds great.
Destruction is that what you said?
Yeah. Yep. When when games glitch or when things get destroyed or when things just don't work the way that they like were intended to, I love it. I love
Oh.
chaos.
There are some people that actually intentionally glitch the game just to gain an advantage. It's I'm not saying people. It's Eric's asked, can you do Vice City next? I already did Vice City. Sorry. So I already completed the game. So you have to look at my channel. All the video Vice Studios are there. Vice Studio games are there. So, um, have you played Vice City?
No.
Okay, that's cool. Anyway, there's what they do in the game is if they hold the pause button down, uh, and what happens is the game will flicker back and forth like it's going between the pause menu and the game, and it glitches the game so that you can double up and actually have two missions going on at the same time.
Oh, wow.
It's obviously the people who made the game did not intend it to be played that way, but speedrunners do it anyway to like to purposely glitch the game to gain an advantage. And I'm like, and people ask me, "Well, do you want to do speedruns?" Well, first, I don't really want to do speedruns. I'm not a big fan of doing them. I don't hate them. I just don't want to do one. But at the same time, you can't compete against that because I would never do that because it's kind of almost borderline getting into a cheating area. You know, you're essentially purposely glitching the game to gain an advantage that the
Right.
designers of the game did not want you to do. And the attitude is, well, it's you can do it, but you're not really introducing like an actual cheat or anything like that. You know, you're not modifying the game, but still, you know, it's not really. Yeah, so because of that, well, it's one reason I can never compete against that because I would never do that in a game. So, uh, but
I've seen some really interesting ones and it definitely like they will break it down and get like behind the entire like front set of the game itself and be like in the matrix so they say and just completely break games to beat the record of how fast a game has been played and it the stuff they do is crazy. It's absolutely insane. It's fun to watch, but I can't imagine wanting to play a game that way.
the
It's
speed run,
interesting when you're like, "Oh my god, you did that? How did you do that?"
you're talking about the speed running, right?
Right, the speed running, yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I've watched them sometimes, and the one thing I don't like about speedruns is when people play it. It's like they get into a routine and they do the same thing every time. It's like there's no nuance. There's no they don't absorb the game, so to speak. They just play it to get through it as quickly as possible. And I don't want to. That's another reason I don't like want to do a speed run. Is I don't dislike them. I just don't want to do them because I can't sit there and just have fun playing the game. You know, it's like
Yeah.
you get into this routine where you're like, okay, I got to do this, got to do this, got to. It's like, and it's like after that, it's like it loses it kind of would, in my opinion, would make me lose, for me anyway, would lose the fun. Maybe people think that's fun. I don't know. That's their choice. But for me, that would be making me losing the fun aspect of it. So
Yeah, I think it is definitely totally two different things. There's playing and enjoying the game, and then there's breaking the game down to see how you can manipulate it to get through it the fastest she possibly can.
yeah, yeah. It's are any glitches in particular that you can think of?
I recently watched Breath of the Wild speedrun, and they like dodge roll over and over and over again into a shrine, and it like takes them all the way down into the bottom of it so that they can get it without having to complete the shrine itself. Or a really popular one is they'll like hit an item really hard and then get on top of it and just watch as it like flies across the entire stream. They can travel so far that way. It's just ridiculous fun stuff. But I mean, I'm playing Breath of the Wild now, and I can't even imagine. I'm still in the first section because I'm just exploring everything. I've used almost all of my stickers marking things on the map because I'm just like, oh, this place is really cool. I like going here, and I'm just enjoying it.
Well, I got something I'll show you. Tell me if you think this is a glitch. The reason I'm going to bring this up, I've had people accuse me of saying that what I'm doing is a glitch. I don't perceive it as being a glitch. Oh, whoops, wrong video. So I'll bring it up. I'm bringing it up, and I'll bring it up into the stream in a second here. This is a video I made a few 2017, I think it was. Yeah, here we go. I'll bring it into the stream. Here we go. Okay. So this is a bridge. And what I did was I accidentally discovered this. I don't, and I wasn't the first one to I found out someone else had discovered it before me, but that's not a big deal. But anyway, there's a bridge right there. And what I did is I discovered, like I said, this was completely by accident. I took a bike, I went up the railing there, and I found out you can actually go over top of those barriers and get to the other side. Now, the reason they block it off is because they're trying to restrict your access to that part of the game because they want you to progress through the story before you go over there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see.
So this is what happens. Watch, you'll see. Go up, and then you go up and see like there's an invisible barrier.
Oh, and I see. That's cool.
So you go over top and and you make it across. Okay. Now there's another barrier at the other end, which this one I figured out by just trial and error. If you go over here, you can squeeze between the sides there, between the
Oh,
invisible
wow.
and get through. So
That's
um,
ridiculous.
So I've had several people. This video has got a ridiculously large, or 15 million views, which is one of my highest rated videos. When I made this video, people just really liked it, I guess. But do you think that's a glitch? Would you call that a glitch? I don't call that a glitch. What do you think?
So I think it definitely is glitch adjacent. I wouldn't necessarily say that you manipulated the game to like break it. You just found this thing that the designers didn't think anyone was gonna do, and you did it.
My argument is I'm just getting around the barriers, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not intentionally making the game function the way it wasn't. It's just there, and I'm just working my way around what they put in place. So. And anyway, so I would get into stupid arguments. I stopped doing it. I got little arguments in my comment section with people saying, "No, it's a glitch," or "You're cheating." I was like, "Well, I
Oh,
don't."
well, I mean, I don't consider that cheating. I don't see it that way. Just like any other person would take a shortcut. I mean, if you're gonna are you gonna walk the long way home around this block, or you could take the alley that cuts through it? That's kind of what I see it as.
The originally I made a video. I don't know if I'm not going to look it up because it's several years ago, but probably at least 10, 12 years ago, where I'll go back. I'll bring this back up again. What I had done was I, instead of riding the bike, is I took let me bring my mouse up so you can see this little thing right here. What I did was I got off the vehicle, whatever vehicle I was in. I just walked CJ up the top here, and I had to walk along the top of the girders to get to the other side, which you can do. It doesn't.
Mhm.
There's nothing blocking that. And so what I decided to do was maybe the whole idea was maybe if I take the bike and do the same thing, maybe I could ride the bike up. And what happened was I got halfway up and I fell off, and I discovered, oh, the barrier, I can jump over the top of the barrier.
Yeah, yeah, that's what
So
it looks like. I thought you were gonna ride up the whole top before I watched the video. I thought you were gonna do just all the way up, but it you found that invisible wall almost, and then you drop right back down. That's really
right.
cool.
Yeah, and then
Do
go ahead.
sorry. Later in the game, are those barriers gone?
Yeah, yeah, what happens is
Oh, I see.
as the story progresses, eventually, like, the all the they're all the bridges have, barriers of some kind in place, and eventually what will happen is when you get to, into the game, where when you go to the desert, there's a section of the game that's a parody of Las Vegas and the desert near Area 51. I'm sure you know what Area 51 is.
Yeah.
So they have their area, they have a parody called Area 69. So once you get to that part of the game, the bridge barriers disappear, so you can cross over. So my argument was always been the barriers are not there to stop you from getting across. It's just to make it more difficult for you to get across because, like I said, you can go over top of the bridge without any problem. There's nothing stopping you, and you can see the water. You can swim right across the water as well. So there's
Oh,
nothing
yeah.
stopping.
Yeah, that's not cheating.
So, and once you get to the other side, as you can see, um, up at the top right there, you get the 4 stars. So the cops are chasing after you. Another thing they try to deter you from being over there. So like if you have a high wonder level, they'll hope that you'll turn back. But of course, if you play the game enough and you have 4 stars, you get used to playing with it, so it doesn't really matter
Right.
anyway. The so as far as any other, I mean, as far as glitching, do you consider any kind of glitching cheating?
Um, I definitely can see how some glitches are cheating, but the amount of work that I know goes into researching and finding these glitches, I kind of think it's fair game. I mean, just like you said, you're not installing anything into the game to make it function a certain way. If you found the game as it is and you found a way to do something that maybe they didn't think about and they didn't want you to necessarily do, but you found a way to do it, it's kind of fair game. I mean, I don't think it's cheating. It's in there and you're doing it. And just because somebody else didn't know how to do it, I mean, too bad.
Right. And there's another thing I wanted to talk about. See if I can find it here. No, so, no, I'm not gonna be able. I, I I can't find it. Basically, somebody I don't know how they figured this out. There's a video. It's about 10 minutes long. It's really. I think the video itself is really cool because, but it does it. It explains you can do this in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and in Vice City. You can, if you time everything out, there's something to do with the way the game is programmed. If you time everything out, you can actually trigger the very final mission of the game at the very beginning of the game.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
which is actually kind of cool. It's like it's not a glitch per se. It's basically what happens is it just if a certain thing happens at a certain time, then a certain flag is raised, and what happens is that triggers another flag of something, or I don't know all the details. But what happens is when you go to start something, if you time it exactly right down to the microsecond, you can actually trigger the final mission just because of the way the game is programmed. So it's not a glitch. It's just you just have to time everything just perfect. Now, I thought that was really cool, but the thing I don't find cool is that people think that when you do that, they actually use that as a speed run. Now they're saying they're finishing the game in like 10 minutes or something. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
that doesn't count. They do that for Vice City and they do that for San Andreas. It's like, come on. Yeah, you played the final mission, but you found some the work, you found something that obviously the designers of the game did not intend for that to happen. And yeah, and then not only that, when you finish the final mission, you come back and you're still at the beginning of the game because you still have all the other story missions left to complete. And I'm
Oh,
like,
yep.
I was like, how does that count as finishing the game just because you finished the final mission early on? So, but
My a friend of mine turned me on to something called GDQ, Games Done Quick, and what it is they do speed runs, but they have categories where they are able to say, okay, well, this speed run isn't going to include any glitches, or this speed run is very specific, like a certain damage intake, or so they categorize it. So you can say that you technically beat the game, but you did use glitches in that sense. So I like that they categorize that. So like you can say, oh yeah, I beat the game, but with glitches, as
Right.
opposed to somebody who played through the full game very quickly.
And there's actually a channel called Games Done Quick with wow, they're verified and everything. A pretty high subscriber rate. Interesting. I've never heard that before. That's interesting. I've never heard of that term, but that's interesting. Um, and well, they're uploading a lot of videos, but their videos aren't getting a lot of views though. Kind of like you can see like their last video an hour ago got less than 300. I'm not saying my videos don't get that much either. I'm just saying it's probably more of a reference thing than anything else. So what you're seeing there is probably the games are people. Oh, here we go. Let's try that real quick. Uh, that's not there. I was looking for that trick where you could do it. I've seen people do it on the internet. It's that way you do it really quickly. Um, I- I'll go check that out. I'll check. I'm glad you told me about that. I don't necessarily like to play that game, but sometimes you can learn some really cool tricks when you're doing that. So,
Yeah,
but-
definitely.
so I've watched some of the speedrunners and I'll see, oh, that's a pretty neat trick to do, and I didn't know you could do that. So when I make a video, I'll put in the description of the video. I say I saw this by watching this person's video. So I don't try to claim that I created it myself. I just try to, oh, there's Kitty.
I was trying to be really covert about that. It didn't work out.
What's that kitty's name?
That is Howl.
Howl. Okay. Okay. Is that boy or girl?
Boy.
Boy. Okay. Okay. So it looked like my kitty for a second there. So is he a friendly kitty?
Yeah, he's pretty shy. When people come over and it's loud, he just hides. But if you're quiet and you're being pretty chill, he'll come out and say hello. He's pretty nice. He's sweet.
It reminds me of my cats, the ones I have now. They're extremely afraid of everybody, so they hide
Yeah.
immediately. Um, but it's a little frustrating because the two cats I had that died, my older cats both died in 2019. One was 16, the other was 19, and they were the exact opposite. Whenever I had someone come in the house, they would walk up to the people and expect to be petted. They would walk up and they definitely wanted the attention. Didn't matter who the person was, they wanted the attention. So when I got these cats, it was like the exact opposite. They're hiding all the time. It's like I want them to come
Mm.
out, and be friendly, but they don't want to be friendly, or they're not unfriendly. They're just not being, they're just so afraid they don't want to, see anybody. So, and I'm just not used. I'm getting used to it now, but at first it was really kind of weird. Not only
Yeah.
that, like when I first got them, they were only 7 weeks old, and for the first week, they wouldn't even come to me. They were so afraid. They kept on hiding from me, and eventually they warmed up. And now they're friendly. They like me a lot. But it was just, for a while, I was thinking, oh my goodness, they're not going to like me, are they? Oh, is that cat making a noise?
Yeah. They're acting up, I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. You're like, you're like, I'm just. I hope everything's okay over there. I hope they didn't just
I
destroy
yeah.
something.
I think they knocked something over in the kitchen.
Do you have a problem? I don't want to be too gross here, but do you have a problem with cats peeing anywhere, going in unnecessary places? I had my older cat, when the one he was 19 when he died, but I found out after he died, he had these secret places that he was peeing.
Mm.
I was so frustrated. There was one corner of the house that I had all these boxes stacked up, and he went behind the boxes, and he must have peed I don't know how many times.
Oh, man.
And the pee had dried up, and it was like a powder residue.
Oh.
It was so
Ugh.
gross.
No, I found out after some research that I started with just one cat, and then it ended up that I got two. But I wanted to make sure that there wasn't any issues because I knew that cats can do that. They're incredibly territorial. And so I didn't want that to be my house because I try really hard to be clean. And I just like wanted to have people over and not have that smell and all of that. So I looked it up and apparently you should have one extra box, like cat box, per cat. So if you have two cats, you should have three cat boxes. And that's because they're so incredibly territorial that they just like because peeing is how they mark territory. So if you don't have enough places for them to go, they'll start going wherever.
Hmm. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The cat I had, he was a I had him for he was a kitten with two other cats that died several years ago,
Oh.
and then those two cats died early back in the early 2000s. And then the other cat that I had, I got another cat that when he was about 2 years old, and then the two of them, he got along for the most part with her, but I could see that being a territorial thing with him. The two cats I have right now are brothers, and I don't think that's a. And I said I've had them since they're babies. I don't think that's been an issue so far with them. So I think I guess maybe if they're raised together and especially if they're siblings, maybe that
Yeah.
might not be an issue. So
Yeah, that's definitely different if they're sometimes they still can though. And a lot of things go into that too. It could be temperament, it can be something they might be sick. It could be a lot of things. Cats are really good at hiding symptoms of being sick. So if they're doing something weird like that, sometimes it's kind of like, oh, maybe something's wrong. They're really difficult. Can be really hard.
right, yeah. I hope that whatever happened in the kitchen there, I hope it's not something that's too bad.
It sounded like it was maybe the trash can lid.
So the oh, okay, okay. So so as far as the cats, they like the home. I mean, did you have the cats when you bought your home?
Yes, yeah, I did. Transporting cats is the worst thing I've ever done. I hate it. It's the worst. It's so
Really?
bad. Yeah, it's not good. I never crate my cats ever. So when I bring out the crate to transport them, they lose it. They absolutely just go crazy.
Oh wow.
I have to I have to trick them into it. I learned because for this move, was a little bit more prepared, and I knew that they hated getting in the crate. So I read up on it, and apparently if you, like, leave the crate out for a couple weeks before you're gonna move, so they can get acclimated to it being around, and it's not just kind of like, "Oh, the crate's out, I'm gonna go in this thing that I don't wanna be in." I learned that if you leave it out and you put, like, treats inside of it, then they'll go inside on their own to get the treats, and they don't get as freaked out as much, and they're more prepared to go inside. So I was able to trick most of my cats inside, and that was easy, but there was one that I was chasing around the house, and I was like, "God, please." That stinks because my dad was trying to help me, and he scared her. Like, I had her inside of the crate, and then he was like, "Alright, Liz, do you need anything else?" And I was like, "Oh, no!" And she just bolted, and I was like, "I'm never gonna get her now."
This is I have a cat carrot that doesn't look exactly like this, but you can put them in from the top and from the
Oh,
front.
yeah, that's good too, yeah.
That's the ones I usually would carry. But I don't know. I'm not obviously every cat is different, but the cats I have, I don't know if it's because I pick them up a lot, but they're used to me picking them up, and if I put them in a cat carrier, they don't fuss at all. They're fine.
Oh,
They're like
wow. I'm
just go
jealous.
right in. Even my older cats, the ones that died in 2019, they were both
Aw.
the same way. You just put them in the cat carrier, and they're like, "Yep, we're good, we're cool."
Yeah,
Um,
my cats hate it. They hate it a lot, and they
now,
cry and cry.
oh really? Wow.
Yeah, they get really vocal because they hate it.
Oh my goodness, that's wow. I'm wow. I'm sorry you have to go through that.
Well,
Yeah.
I purchased a house, and I plan to make that pretty long term, so hopefully I won't be going through that again for at least a long time.
Is it the ones where you have to put the cat in from, like, the front only, kinda like that?
I have one that it's that same material, that harder plastic, and it has the front opening, but the top also, like, fully comes off.
Oh, it does, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's a little different. It's a little not quite like the one I showed you, not like that
Yeah,
exactly.
so it's not, like, metal grated like that. It's all plastic top, but there's these little I don't know what you would call them, like, latches that you undo, and the whole top will just come off.
Okay, like, it comes into 2 parts then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and that works? Does that work?
Yeah, it works. It's really good. I had to take my cat to the vet, and he didn't wanna get out of the cage at that point, and he was really putting up a fight, so I was like, "Oh, well, I'm just gonna take the lid off then."
The another thing that might work is I have one of these. I have an animal trap. It's meant to like to catch raccoons, like in badgers, and like in your yard. If you have problems with them, you want to catch them and safely transport them somewhere else. They walk in and it trips a little plate that's on the bottom of the cage, and a trap door comes down, and they get trapped inside. So it's a little bit larger. Let me see if I can find one of those. I don't know if this might help you or not. Humane animal trap. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. It looks kind of like this.
Oh, yeah, I see.
So like this trap door comes like this comes up, and then there's this plate right over here. You can see that what they do is they step on that, and the door comes down. They get caught inside. So
Oh.
when they step on it, you can see. Yeah, and I have one of these just in case I need to, like I said, remove animals that I don't want on my property that may be causing issues. You know, and it doesn't hurt them at all. They're
Right.
safe inside. So it's yeah. But it's just another possible way. It's like a larger version of a cat carrier. So it's pretty big. It's about maybe at least 1.5, maybe 2 times the size of an average cat carrier. So
That raccoon has no reason to look that cute in there. He's in jail, let him out.
but did you want to look at our question we asked earlier? See what kind
Yeah,
of
let's
result?
take a peek.
All righty. There we go. All right. Looks pretty good. 92 votes. Let me hit the refresh. See what we need more. Actually, we're 105 votes so far.
Wow.
So when do you find yourself quickly safety saving before a big boss? Overwhelmingly 69%. Next down, we got 14% with all the above, 8% with before you do something you know is going to get you killed, 7% with after doing something you don't want to lose data on, and 3% after getting a cool item. Now, that one was interesting. Is that something you do? I was going to ask you about that after getting a cool item. What is that something you do on a? I mean, what would be the advantage of safety saving after getting the cool item that would be different from the other things? Like, do you think you would lose like progress in the game somehow?
Um, I've played some games where items are randomized. So if you happen to get a really cool item and you know that you may not get that again, if you should die and need to repeat that part, I will immediately save because I'm like, oh, this item is really cool. I don't want to lose this. If I should like I have this feeling that as soon as I get something really cool, I'm going to immediately get one shot because I'm like, I have this cool item now and I'm going to die because just I've set it in motion at this point. So I've definitely come across that.
No,
Or
I've
if you're
actually.
working really hard towards, like in Kingdom Hearts, I've 100%ed that game a couple times, and I know that it's so much work and so much effort to make the Ultima weapon, like the final Keyblade, that I'm just like, as soon as I make it, I save because I'm like, this was so much effort.
I actually, now that you describe it, I can relate now. I honestly can. There's a game called Driver Parallel Lines, and in the game there's a car that's extremely very rare, hardly I've it's modeled after an old like 1972 73 Lamborghini, and I'm not usually a big I like cars, but I'm not usually a big fan of European cars, but this one is actually pretty cool. And I remember playing the game one time, and I actually found it one time, and so I quickly saved the game because I knew I was going to get it again. Because once you save the game, once you get a car, you can drive it back to your garage, and you can save it in the garage, and then you can drive it whenever you want to. So,
Yeah,
and I
awesome.
w- I was like, oh, cool. And I found it, and then like played the game another time, and I never saw the car ever.
Oh
So.
man.
Uh, so, yeah, I can relate to what you're saying there. So based on that, I'm sure there's other things I'm thinking of too. But yeah, something is very rare and you get it, yeah, you want to go ahead and save it pretty quickly. So
Yep.
I I will say this though, whenever I make a video like that, sometimes I'll get somebody will say, "Oh, we'll just use the cheat code instead," or "Why don't you just get a
Mm,
spawn or a car spawner?" I was like, "Well, because that's not the purpose of my game. My videos, they're to show you how to do it without cheating and
right.
without using any mods or trainers, just to, they don't seem to get that sometimes." So let's see, Sandeep Mohan R says all of the above. So, and that's a he comments on every video, almost every one we have of these. So he's a regular contributor. So let's see. All right. Well, how do you feel? How do you feel overall about these results?
I feel like that makes sense. Yeah, I think the biggest one is before a big boss because that's the biggest threat of death for sure. But I think they're all pretty relatable. So I I can see how that all makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said earlier, my biggest problem was, when I first started playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was the video cards I had were just inferior, and the game would just lock up, and it was just so annoying. One of the in particular was one mission, we have to do it's called a paramedic mission, it takes on average about 45 minutes to complete, and I would
Oh,
often get
man.
up to, like, 35, 40 minutes in, and it would just lock up. So
No.
it's so annoying. I was like, "Oh, I gotta do that again. I don't wanna do that all over again." So, and it was just more tedious after that after a while. It wasn't it got to be a point where it wasn't that much fun. And eventually I got through it, so it didn't crash. But unfortunately, you can't save during those missions, at least on the older versions. Maybe, like I said, maybe the mobiles are different, but the older versions of the game, you can't save it. You have to complete the mission, then go save it, which is you have to hope it doesn't crash during that entire time, which is annoying.
Yeah, oh, man, yep. And then as soon as you're done, you're like, "Save, so I never have to do that again."
Yep. Alrighty. Well, did you have anything else you wanted to add to? Oh, did you want to for next week? Did you what did you we had talked about doing the movie Howard the Duck. Did you want to do that next week with our viewers?
Yeah, yeah, I think that'll be a lot of fun. I love watching bad movies, and I can't wait to talk about this movie. It looks really bad, but also really good. So I've seen some really bad movies that are just boring because they're bad because they're boring. Nothing happens. But this looks like a lot is gonna go on. It'll
Have
have a lot to talk about.
have you seen anything? Have you watched anything yet about it? Like a preview or a trailer or a review yet?
I haven't. I'm
Okay.
gonna go in blind.
Okay. I won't say anything then. I'll let you go in on your own. There are some things I want to say, but I'll save it for when we talk about it. So you'll get it. I think it'll be a nice surprise. Be more spontaneous
Next week.
with yes. Alrighty. Well, that's cool. Anything else you want to add before we go? We wrap everything up.
I think we're good. I'm
Cool.
really excited about watching this terrible movie and then getting to talk about it.
So next week we'll review the movie, or I should say, we'll just do like a chat. We'll do a movie chat about the movie Howard the Duck. So those who have seen it and don't like it, I will say I don't hate the movie. Okay, I understand why people think it's really bad, but I don't really necessarily like the movie either. So I remember seeing it and I was like, okay, it was like, nah, I could take it or leave it. But I can understand why a lot of people actually outright hate the movie. So. Uh, but yeah, I won't give anything else away. We can discuss it later, or when we have time to actually sit down and chat about it. So, alrighty. Well, thanks everyone, and thanks everyone for leaving comments. And if you want to, I left the link for this week's poll in the chat section. You can click on that, and if you can, well, continue. We'll go back to that next week, and we'll discuss that, and we'll go from there. All right. Thanks. All right, Alyssa.
Bye.
See you.